it first came out. And I have not used a lot of it yet. So if anybody's interested, I have lots of it.
That's the powder?
Hmm?
That's the powder?
The kit.
Oh, the kit.
So you take the binder first, mix it with the glass powder, right? So that's that. Very careful. I would usually mix this much more thoroughly, but I'm in a hurry to get the liquid in it so it stops floating around in the air. And then on this recipe, this is a small batch recipe that she has. So this recipe uses just 1.5 teaspoons of water. And I try to get that water to go over the whole top surface. Almost.
Do you need some more?
No, I got it. And then you mix the powder and the water. And I'll pass this jar around, this dish around after I get it. So now it has, sometimes when you start working with it, you've got to be able to experiment with this stuff. It'll either look so dry, like you're making pie dough, like little peas. Add a little more water. It's very, what do you call it, persuasive. So this one is about right. It'll have that kind of, like creamed butter.
Yeah.
I like to call it creamed butter. And then you take the medium, which is like an oil, mix it in there. Mix it in. And that's all there is to it. And I think the reason a lot of people will see these presentations and then they go and buy it and then they let it sit on the shelf is they're afraid of it. They don't know what they're supposed to do with it or what it do. I mean, call me because this stuff is fun. If you are stuck for ideas, and you can even stir it if you like to. What else have I got? I didn't bring the cookie press. Has anybody seen the Wilton cookie presses? They've only got one pattern out so far, unfortunately. But I pressed them in to the cookie press, and what I did on this one is I filled the crevices of the cookie press in with mica. So I'm wondering if it would work. It worked beautifully. So on this one you can see literally where I've got the color of the modeling glass and then the mica sitting up on top.
It reminds me, I've seen some of those fancy buttons they make, that's kind of what I saw it at first.
You mix it, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, I don't want you to get bumped off or anything.
It's like, sit still.
If anybody likes to do buttons or geologic kind of stuff with their glass, here is what I think looks like lava.
Does it always cave in like that in the middle? I mean, it looks like it has a little ridge, like it's poured
This right here.
glass. Well, even around the edges, see how it goes like a natural.
That's where I've rolled it out,
Oh.
and I didn't cut it, so I just left it in its organic shape, because
Oh,
I really
okay.
thought I was gonna
Yeah, that's
make
good.
a mountain of lava, but that's about all I got. That right there. I am working with doing layers of modeling glass on top of each other and then cutting into them the way you would in ceramics. That's not been real successful so far because it's really hard to get that angle with a box cutter. But you could also use some form that may have different sizes and do it that way.
Or like those
Stack.
clay cutters.
Right, exactly. Patty Marshall is fascinated with this, and I'm mad that these came out dark, but these are my new toy cameos.
They're beautiful.
So on those, what I do is I push the white in to the inside of
I have to lay it
the
down
form,
so that I can
let
get
it dry. I was doing it while it was wet, it was squishing out underneath, and you can't see it do that, so. So I let it dry, and then I put the cameo color on top, let it dry, and then fire it. And it comes out great.
Now, do you have to put this and roll it before it gets too thick?
I'm not worried about this.
But I mean, normally,
Oh,
you just go ahead and roll it out there.
You know what's funny? On the modeling glass, you know how if you use enamels, you can reconstitute them, right? It's the same thing with modeling glass. I've got
look how
bricks
cute
of
those are.
modeling glass at the house that are like 3-4 years old, and I'll just crumble them up, add water. I got my modeling glass back. I've got Dr. Pepper color and But yeah, so that's that. The buttons, the geologic forms. Does anybody know Robin Fees on Facebook?
Yeah.
She loves geologic stuff, and she swore that was a piece of granite. I was
It
like,
does
no,
look like a piece of granite.
it's modeling glass.
The days of having glass nuggets are over.
And here's the original cameo, so it'll show you more that they do work really well. It's just that my white, for some reason, didn't work when I was fired. You can
Love
do
those
things
cameos.
like, I used a circle cookie cutter on a piece of this and just kind of stamped all over on it, made crevices and stuff, and then put the strings on top of it.
It's like whatever you feel like.
Yeah, yeah. You can take powder once you have your modeling glass done like this. You know, I thought it was all organized.
Well, you are, but
You can sculpt with it. Whoops,
so,
it's out
so you're
there.
saying that that mixed up thing there, once that's hardened, you can break that up and reconstitute,
Reconstituted.
but not, so anything that's already been done, but not a finish.
All of these colors,
Yeah.
they
yeah.
they could sit here for 3 years and dry up, even with this on here,
Uh-huh,
and I'll
and
just
still use it.
reconstitute it.
With water or with the medium?
Water, sometimes if you get to know the modeling glass, it may have been worked too much when I was originally working it. So if it looks like it'll fall apart if there's more water than liquid medium. So then just add some more liquid medium and stir it in. And that'll work.
And these cameos have all been fired or just,
Yes, those
Okay.
are fired, but I don't know why my white didn't come out.
oh,
Well, it looks like it over, why is it over?
Yeah, they really didn't come out well. You need to leave those here.
And that little,
sell them, Stephanie.
It's like,
Yes.
So let's see, what else have I got? Oh, new from Tovolo. I just found these on Facebook.
Is this
My
what these are?
masks, yes. These guys here from Tovolo, you cut with the cookie cutter, right? Like that. Once you have your stuff moved like you would clay, move your edge around it. Then you take these guys, and there's other patterns, and push them onto that. So you end up with, we're doing
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead, yeah.
Sugar skulls.
Sugar skulls, yeah.
So where do you get those molds and stuff?
oh my gosh,
They're
those are so
made
cute.
by Tovolo, and
How do you
Yeah.
spell
let me
that?
make sure. Tovolo, and there's several different stuff that they have.
So did you
But I
find
really-
them like on Amazon or?
On Amazon, yep. If you do cookie cutters, chocolate molds, let's see, 3 years worth of searches would all
Oh.
like that.
And then she just said, you know, you could then enamel and
Yes.
colorize it if you wanted.
Yes, that's what Tony is gonna do with these. I'm gonna give them to her, but I did do one, this is kinda wild, I did one while the modeling glass was still in its raw form. I wanted to see what happens if I color it and then put it in the kiln. Will all of that burn off? Will it try to stay as big as it was? It followed perfectly, the form.
Well, enamel should
Yeah.
just stay where
Where you put them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that one. Flowers in cookie presses. I'll take, if you think about a rose, the tips or the inside of a rose or whatever is darker. So I just take different colors of modeling glass and make them look very natural. Which one's pink? Beads. It's a bead with a hole in it. I just, I love to take and make just cubes with clay. So that's a bead, hole in it, you do a whole necklace of it. Very light, it's very light.
You have to leave something to your bowl you plunge when you fire it?
I put a wind of, like quilling, a wind of fiber, thin fiber in there,
Oh,
and then it just comes out. So you do that. Here's another piece where I took the modeling glass. I was doing Easter eggs, and you know, I'm like squirrel. So I had some other stars and stuff, the cookie cutters. So I just took a cookie cutter and stamped all over this, put some powder on it, and then cut out other forms, and then fired the whole thing.
Cute.
Yeah, that is cute.
Experiment 101.
You know pressed glass? Everybody know pressed glass?
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with trying to figure out how to get it to look
Oh,
like
yeah.
pressed glass.
Mhm.
So I'm showing you the medium and saying, you know, if you just play with it, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's not scary. It's not scary stuff. Please wear a mask. That's my big thing in
Yeah.
glass.
The whole
Wear-
time?
No.
Just when you're mixing?
Once you've got the water in there
Mhm.
and it's mixed, because
Mhm.
if you do the larger batches, you're gonna, if you ever put glass, even as you cut glass, if you wanna see what glass goes into the air, because I used to work in the asbestos abatement industry, turn a light on in the dark at night and cut your glass, and you're gonna see glass flying everywhere. So don't be that scary, but when you're working with powder, it poofs. No matter what, it poofs. It looks like baby talc powder flying.
So when you cut that cat out, the clay was still moist.
Dry.
It was hard.
Yes, so I roll it to 2 millimeter and lift it. The best way to roll modeling glass is between page protectors, right? Don't try a vinyl mat because it'll stick to the vinyl mat. I've actually done rolled modeling glass with, you know how you make bread? You flour the surface and then you roll the modeling glass, or the bread. I've done that. But if you want to roll it out and then peel up the whatever you've rolled it onto, page protectors work great, or Ziploc baggies.
So if that's hard clay and you press that cat, it just seems like it would shatter the.
I was surprised too. This is my first try.
Ah.
And I slid it in there, and you have to get, you know, it'll be frustrating at first. You have to kind of go, okay, I know why it cracked, you know, like if it cracks or breaks, you weren't all the way in there, so it's just like cutting glass. The cut, the glass didn't know where you wanted to go, so it just kind of cracks and shatters. But if you can get it all the way back till you feel it stop, and then right quick, and also it drops to the bottom on this model. I was trying to slide the whole thing back out, so if it was still stuck a little bit to the edge of the sheet, it would crack. So just lift it up, get your little cat. You can make snakes, you can make, I've got some Marini here. I'll go on and on, just stop me when you want me to shut up.
Do they make it out of transparent?
What? I'm sorry.
Have you ever tried transparent, or do they not sell transparent?
I've got a face here somewhere, a Day of the Dead face. I did, oh, you mean transparent glass?
Where you can see through it?
Yeah, with modeling glass, it has its limitations, and that's why a lot of people don't like it. They're like, that looks like clay. You can work with the surface of modeling glass enough to where the heat will make a nice enough sheen that it looks like glass. A lot of people just roll it out, cut it, or whatever, and they throw it in the kiln. Bumpy back, bumpy top. It's going to come out looking funky, right? It's going to do what you asked it to do. If you roll it nice and smooth, I mean, other than color, you would never know. Now the back, you know, that's the shelf side. But on this side, it's just like glass.
So Kim, you were saying like Marini, so these little pieces in here, is that mowing clay or is that?
That's actually Marini.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually glass.
That's Lori,
I
right?
have some little pieces right here. I just tried this. Yeah, Lori Moreno inspired me to try doing some Marini. So this here, I didn't mention my favorite tool, is extruded.
Oh, okay, oh, yeah.
Right, just like polymer clay, yeah. Just like polymer clay, you have all these shapes you can play with, right?
Extruded.
Let's see, she did a
Yeah.
thing.
And so I did 4 cubes,
Oh, yeah.
square,
Yeah.
and and then I took had the square, and then I rolled it in black so I could have the outside of the Marini. So I got like a little checkerboard Marini. So that's the first two. And you know, the more you play with it, the more you figure out, okay, I need to do this next time. But that was my first out with trying marine shade. I don't think you're gonna get flowers unless you do a big piece of,
Oh, that's
of
cool.
modeling glass, isn't it?
Very cool.
I was pretty happy with that. On flowers, which I don't have, oh, okay. One more thing, and this is it, I promise. Leaves, can you see the green in that leaf, or the vein?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Let's see.
That's done
There we go.
with the chocolate mold.
Okay.
And I'll tell you now, the chocolate mold's the easiest one to work because it's that thin. So when the stuff is dry, it really just pops out. And you can make autumn leaves.
So the vein was in the mold.
The veins are in the mold. Yes.
Cool.
The firing schedule is the only thing that I don't have in the, you know, that's what are we about, firing schedules, right? Well, I forgot to put the firing schedules in. Lois Mano's
cool.
website will have all of the firing schedules, but you also have to play with it a little. That 2 millimeter, what did we fire that at?
I think the 2 millimeter, we stopped that at 1305 or something.
For like 2 or 3 minutes, because I knew it was gonna shrink, and I wanted the gloss, but I knew if I kept it in there, the way you would keep a thicker piece is just gonna keep going, you know, like this.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to play with your schedules. The top temp for the normal like 6 millimeter piece of like the masks that I made, the Day of the Dead mask, that's gonna take
to go that way.
13,
I would send her that way because she's so.
1325 for about 15, 10. And this one here I put mica on.
Cool.
So does anybody have any questions? Did I do good?
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank
And there's a piece of modeling glass fired on top of a piece of glass. Don't fire your modeling glass wet on top of a piece of glass. You're gonna break the glass. Because while the modeling glass is going like this, your glass is like, whoa, wait a minute, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, go with you.
Right, or go away.
All right.
Okay, well, there you go.
cat, I'll take it.
I can, you can certainly have the kitty cat.
She likes the black.